everyone, this is Jess from Bare Bones Makeup, and today we're gonna have a little party looking like Barbie. So let's get into it. First step is gonna be priming our complexion. So I'm going in with Tarte's Timeless Smoothing Primer and applying this in areas where I have larger pores. Then I'm going to be prepping my under eye with Bobbi Brown's Under Eye Corrector in Extra Light Peach Bisque. I like to apply this with my fingers so that it melts into the skin. Then I'm going to apply MAC's 24-Hour Eye Base Primer. This is great for oily skin. It's also very easy to apply because you just put a little bit on your fingertips and then press and rub into the skin. A little bit of this product goes a long way, which is great because it means that it will last a very long time for you before you have to replenish. And of course, the star of today's show, the PUR and Barbie collab eyeshadow palette. How gorgeous is this? I was obsessed with Barbie as a kid, so I am absolutely over the moon for this eyeshadow palette. Before we get into our fun eyeshadow, we are going to apply Laura Mercier's Caviar Stick in Vanilla Kiss as our kind of final eye prepping moment. And I'm just going to use a basic eyeshadow brush to blend this all over. I'm trying to get the entire area that I plan on putting shadow, which today is essentially the entire lid leading all the way up to the brows. And we'll be setting that eye primer with Charlotte Tilbury's setting powder in Light. I'm just using a fluffy eyeshadow brush. This one is from a Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collab, just to kind of go over that entire area and set everything down so that our eyeshadow application will not only last longer, but also be easier to blend. And the first color we're going to play with today is this kind of light cotton candy pink. I am using a fluffy crease brush, again from the Jaclyn and Morphe collab, and applying this in my upper crease. I'm also going to be bringing this up a little bit more than I normally would. We're going to be doing a cut crease today, and I have smaller eyes, so I end up having to really take that shadow up towards the brow a little bit higher than I would for, let's say, just a normal eyeshadow look. And using that same crease brush, I'm going to go into the crease with that deeper hot pink. I'm trying to do a little bit of a layering effect here so that it ends up looking more blended. Then I'm going to grab that large fluffy brush and go over the outside edge just with very light sweeping motions, trying to make sure everything is nice and blended and not looking too harsh. Then using a concealer brush, I'm going to begin cutting the crease. I'm using Colourpop's concealer today. I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand, dip my brush into it, and then begin cutting the crease. This essentially just means adding concealer to the center of the lid and slowly building it across the crease so that we end up with more of a pop of pink only on the crease line and not at all on the actual eyelid. Next, I'm going to line my crease with Tarte's Maneater felt tip eyeliner and also add a winged liner. I'm going to go over that crease line with the blue eyeshadow from the Barbie palette and a little eyeliner brush. Next, we're going to add some lashes, and then while those are drying, we're going to start on our complexion. I'm a little tan in this video from Self Tanner and unfortunately ran out of my correct foundation shade. So we're going to try and wing it today with a couple of different options. The first one I'm going to use is a NARS foundation stick in the color Fiji Light number 5. I'm not going to use a ton of this because the undertone is a little bit more yellow than what my current tan is. Then I'm also going to try and mix with it the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation in shade number 2, Fair. And I don't know if you can tell, but at this moment I am panicking a little bit because of course the foundation is a little lighter than I would have hoped. So we're gonna bang it out at the end and add a little more bronzer than normal and hopefully get our warmth back. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta do what you can do. She's a cold one today, folks. That's all right. We'll get her nice and warmed up at the end, I promise. Next, we're gonna go in with that Colourpop concealer under the eye. This concealer was very interesting to me because it is literally only priced at $6. I was super curious to see what the coverage would be like. And then when I go to dip in for the second time, the applicator tip fell off the end and into the tube. So there's not much I can do at this point for getting more product out. I'm just gonna try to do the best I can and then hopefully get myself a new one of these and try again. But I'm not gonna say it's the $6 price point, but I mean, it could be. A girl's gotta do what she can do. It's so funny. This tutorial honestly is one of my favorites, but it really sort of fell apart in some of the functionality of the actual makeup products. But you know what? That's kind of the joy of all of this. It's fun to just play around and see what you can do and what you can create with what you have. So I'm just gonna blend out that concealer as much as I can with that same beauty blender that I used on the rest of my complexion. And honestly, I'm liking how the concealer looks for the amount that I could apply. It has good coverage, it's not cakey, it looks really soft without even any powder. Pretty impressed, honestly. I'm going to do my brows off camera and then return to set my face with Laura Mercier's translucent loose setting powder and a large fluffy face setting brush. Then we are going to warm up finally with a little bit of bronzer. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay bronzer. I love it because it has a little bit of iridescence to it and it's a pretty neutral undertone, so it doesn't make me feel too orange or too yellow, which can be a common problem with bronzers. I'm using a Bobbi Brown angled contour brush to kind of just apply all over the cheeks, a little bit on the temples, and then of course under the chin. And thankfully this seems to work pretty good and we're back to a little bit more of a warmer feel. For blush, I'm using Laura Mercier's Shimmer Bloc in Pink Mosaic, and I'm applying this with a Bobbi Brown blush brush. I love this blush. It has the perfect amount of rosiness, but my favorite thing about it is it has a built-in highlight effect. So it gives you this really gorgeous kind of natural glow. Good for simple makeup if you want just a good blush that'll kind of conquer two things for you. And our last step for eyes before mascara is to apply a little bit of the blue eyeshadow with a smudge brush on the lower crease line. This just adds a little bit of a pop and kind of that classic big-eyed Barbie feel. Our last step for complexion is to add a little bit of some extra highlight using the Rainforest of the Sea highlighter palette from Tarte Cosmetics. I don't think this has a specific name, but pick anything that has a little bit more of like a champagne look. Also, this smells like vanilla. It's amazing. And then now we're gonna party with Barbie. Open a beer or struggle to open a beer for a very long and painful time. Take a little sip and then watch it explode. This was so embarrassing, I had to put it in the video. But I also kind of feel like it's perfect because Barbie is probably not a beer kind of gal. So oh God. Anyway, cheers. And our last step is going to be lips. I am using MAC's Pro Longwear Lip Liner in Oh Honey. I am so devastated. I recently went to replenish this liner because as you can see, it's kind of out, and they discontinued this product. So heartbroken and on the hunt for something new. I'm also going to be using a MAC lipstick in the color Cream Cup. And then we're going to top it off with a lip gloss from Charlotte Tilbury in the color Ibiza Nights, and finish with mascara. This is Benefit's Their Real Mascara. It's one of my favorites. And we're going to finish with a try of doing the Cool Girl hair flip, which I obviously need practice. Anyways, this look was super fun. Thank you for joining me. And as always, don't quit your daydream.